What is up, guys? How you guys been? How you guys doing? Welcome back to another YouTube video. And today we're gonna be reacting to scary animations because my last video you guys liked it a lot. So we are going to be looking at 7 to 11. They messed up on the title. 2 7. Oh, I messed up on the title. 7-11 Quarantine Lockdown Horror Story Animated. This was made by MJV Animations. So if you guys want to watch the original video without me talking, you know. Anyways, yeah, that's in the bottom. So just go watch it, okay? And yeah, let's get to it. Oh yeah, and my friend Alex is watching with us. Say what's up, Alex.
What's up? Sub my channel.
Anyways, let's go.
So I live in an apartment complex right next to a 7-Eleven, literally about a 2-minute walk from my door. So, since all this quarantine lockdown mess, I'd been staying up later than usual, maybe around 2 or 3 a.m. most nights. So last night, a little bit after 12, I had a taste for some chips, and decided I'd just go cross the street to 7-Eleven real quick, which I go to regularly. I make my way over, and on my way in I had to pass this man who was browsing on the red box kiosk. I don't think much of it. I go inside, get some snacks, pay, and head out the door. As I'm coming out though, the red box man is literally staring dead at me with these scarily bright light blue eyes.
I know, me too, that face though.
Myself out even more. I say to myself, maybe he's zoned out or something and deep in thought. I wander into La La Land myself sometimes, so by thinking that, I was trying to make myself more comfortable having to walk past this strange man. I'm headed back into my apartment complex, which is on this side of the street. It has a creaky gate door. I realized as I was walking that I never heard it slam behind me, like I always have every time before. I look back, and the man is standing right behind me, not close up on me, but still definitely following. Once again, trying to ease my mind, I think to myself that he must be going home. I also noticed though that he didn't have any discs in his hand, for as much as he was at the kiosk the whole time I was in the store, taking my sweet, indecisive time. Not wanting to come off as scared, I kept my same pace. I probably should have sprinted though, because fuck being nice.
Oh,
Anyways,
dang. Yeah, this ain't
I'm
made for
literally
kids.
just a few steps away from my door, which is upstairs, when the man randomly calls out to me, "Hey, do you have a lighter?" Out of instinct, I turned my head to the fact I knew someone was speaking to me, and responded, "No, I don't, sorry." I didn't want to just go up my stairs, because I didn't want to let this man know exactly which apartment I live in. I was planning on walking around until I lost him, but he asked me another question. "Hey, could I use your bathroom?" "No, sorry, my roommates probably wouldn't be comfortable with me letting someone in this late. I don't have any roommates, but I damn sure didn't want this man getting any ideas thinking I was by myself." I kept on walking, but the man was still following me. I simply asked him, "Do you live around here or something?" "I have a buddy that does, and he was supposed to meet me across the way there, but maybe he fell asleep. I've never been here before, but I do know his door is number 201. Could you help me find it? 201 is my door. If you have a friend that lives over here, why are you asking to use my bathroom?" I knew this man was lying, and up to something. I quickly came up with, 201? That should be right past the pool next to the laundry area. My friends are waiting for me, so I should get going. My gut told me to head to my car, though, because what if he watched where I was going and decides to give me a surprise later on? No. I watch too many movies and read too many stories uploaded on here. I start heading towards the parking lot, not running, but definitely walking way quicker than before. I look back and realize that the man is chasing me at this point. I hurry up and pull my keys out of my pocket. I jump into my car and immediately lock the doors. The man runs up and starts pounding on my driver's side window. "Open the door, you bitch!" I can't help but focus on those creepy blue eyes, but I also noticed that he was reaching for something in his
Fired
pockets.
a knife
I
with a
started
gun
my
on
car
step.
before I
Oh,
can see what it is he's going to pull out. I
as
heard a
said.
loud pop, but I didn't give a fuck in that moment, as long as I could get the fuck out of his presence. I drove for about 5 minutes down the street to this Arco gas station before I finally called the police. And waiting on the police to arrive, I noticed what the popping sound was. This wacko had popped my back tire with a switchblade. Of course, when the police arrived and checked the area, the motherfucker was long gone. They did question the 7-Eleven clerk, and he let them know that the man had been up there a few times since last week. He'd never been a problem before, but he was obviously homeless. I'm still shook up about what went on last night. I think I'm just gonna chill on late night trips to the 7-Eleven for a while.
Whoa.
Nah,
But that was a good
bruh.
one. That was a good one. Not
Tonight's
an
dinner?
advertisement. Not an advertisement. Oh shoot, wait, go back.
Story about when I was raped.
Or hostel. Or
Oh shoot, ready guys? Okay, so this was made, it's called the old, what?
The old hostel. Oh.
I thought it said hotel. The Old Hostel Horror Story Animated. This was made by Martin Animations. How you doing, Martin? I watched your video last time. Anyways, let's get into it.
I'm a guy, by the way. I want to
did you
share
say?
my story to the world. This is my story about when I was raped. I'm a
Who's
guy,
raped?
by the way.
It's a guy.
I want to
that
share
got
my
raped.
story to the world because I want to help others like me and show you that you are not alone and that there are people out there who have been there themselves. I understand you on a different level than a therapist would who has read some books. Today I suffer from PTSD and depression from this incident. This has been going on for as long as I can remember, but my girlfriend is very supportive and has helped me. She told her parents about the incident too. Well, I don't blame her because Latinos have a very close connection to their families, unlike mine.
He said it wrong.
This happened to me when I was 7 years old. I'm 21 right now. Me and my family were going from Stockholm to Gothenburg in Sweden to watch Monster Jam. I used to love big monster trucks when I was a kid. Just watching how powerful these big trucks were crushing small cars. It just excited me, just like every other fan who enjoyed monster trucks as well. We were staying at a hostel in a dark hidden alley. This was because we were poor and my parents had saved up enough money for Monster Jam and Lisenberg.
I know, I just mute my mic though, so it's okay.
We could only
It's
afford a
alright.
low quality hostel. It stank of damp,
That's
and the receptionist was an old fat lady who smelled like a chimney. In the corner under the stairs sat an old man around his 60s. He looked like he was from the Middle East. He had a grey, greasy beard and a bald spot on his head with grey hair on the sides. He was tall, fat, and was wearing a white buttoned-up shirt, some black shorts, and slippers. He looked at me with a disgusting evil smile while touching himself on his chest. He didn't have many teeth at all, and the teeth he did have were stained yellow and almost rotten. I froze instantly and couldn't move a muscle. I just stared at him and felt the fear creep up all over my body, from my feet to the top of my head. Then suddenly, my mother, who held my hand, dragged me away and up the stairs to our room. I didn't see him for the rest of the afternoon, until the next day. We were going to Monster Jam to finally see the monster trucks. It was a really hot summer's day, and I was wearing only my small blue shorts while sporting a white tank top. We were walking down the street, and it was crowded with people. Then my father had to go to the toilet, so we went into a luxury hotel, and my father used the restroom. Me, my mother, and my sister sat on a bench in the hotel lobby. The bench was located just in front of a big window towards the street. We sat on the bench for a long time, and my mother was talking on the phone. My sister sat on my mother's right side, and me on the left. Then, suddenly, I felt like someone was watching me. I looked around the lobby and didn't notice anyone, but I still felt this feeling like someone was watching me. I turned around and instantly froze. The same old man who I saw at the hostel was standing at the glass window watching me. He was holding his left hand up to the glass to get a better view inside through the window, and his right hand down his pants. but I didn't know exactly what he was doing
That's
then due to
gross.
my age. But I now know that I couldn't move and just stared at the guy in fear. I managed to get up the courage and tell my mother, but she just dismissed me. I then turned around to see if he was there, but he'd gone. Then my father came out of the toilets and we went out onto the street on our way to the Monster Jam. After a while, we were going to cross the street. It was crowded with people. I then heard someone calling out after me, so I turned around and saw the same man. But this time, he had his out and started stroking it with the same evil grin on his face. But now he was reaching out his hand and told me to come closer to him. "Come closer, little boy, come." I froze because I was so terrified because of what he was doing in the middle of the street. I was always a good kid, never did anything wrong, always listened to my elders. So I reluctantly walked towards him, and just when he was going to grab my hand, a Swedish man in his 30s noticed what was happening and stomped on the old man's hand. He started yelling in pain, and at this point, my mother pulled me by my hand as the stoplight became green, so I didn't see what had happened. Some days later, when we were sleeping, I was feeling the need to pee. We had no toilets in our room. The toilet was down the corridor and it was right next to the room near number 4. I started to walk to the toilet in the middle of the night. It was cold and the floors
didn't tell your
creaked in
parents,
pain
bro?
under my weight as I tried not to alert anyone to my presence. Then I heard some muttering in a foreign language from the room near number 4. As I opened the toilet door, the door from the room near number 4 swung open, and there he stood, the old man. He was wearing nothing except a small white tank top with that disgusting grin on his face.
that's a tiny
I
wiener.
instantly froze in fear.
It's like-
I was terrified. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run back to my family, but I couldn't move. The next thing I remember was how he dragged me into the room and tossed me onto the bed. He yanked down my pants and started to rape me. I tried to scream, but he put his dirty underwear in my mouth and threatened me. He told me to shut up or he would kill me. It felt like hours went by, but when he was done, he passed out on the bed. I took this as my chance and made my getaway and ran out of there with my pants. I ran into the toilet and started to wash off the blood and semen. I was in shock. I couldn't believe what had just happened. I walked back to my family's room. They were all fast asleep, not knowing what had just taken place. I climbed into bed and laid there in the fetal position, crying softly. I still want to think to this day that it was a bad dream, but I'm still having that dream almost every night when I'm not sleeping beside my girlfriend. The moment I know it's true is when I go to the toilet and it still hurts.
That's sad. Did y'all get what he meant by whenever he knows it's real because when he goes to the restroom it still hurts? He's talking about his butt. When he poops it hurts. But that makes me mad. Oh, weirdos, bro. That made me so mad. Good animation though. Hopefully it's not
I've
real.
gotten Ubers plenty of times before.
Wait a minute! Oh shoot. 3 Uber horror stories animated compilation. It's 11 minutes. Also made by MJV Animations. Let's get right into it.
I've gotten Ubers plenty of times before, but this one experience I had a few years ago was the creepiest and weirdest of my life. It was a Saturday night, and I had been out bar hopping with my friends. It was around 1:30 a.m. when my friends and I decided to call it a night. I said goodbye to my friends as they walked to the bus stop. I live in the opposite direction, so I started walking to a spot where my brother was going to pick me up. But as I pulled my phone out, I had received a text message from my brother telling me that he can't pick me up as he had been called into work. He works nights. I opened up an Uber, and there was this one guy about 2 minutes away, so I clicked for him to pick me up. His name was Jim, and in his picture he was a balding middle-aged man with a mustache and some stubbled facial hair. An old car pulled up beside me. Jim looked out the window and confirmed that he was my Uber ride. Once I got inside, I noticed there was another person in the passenger seat. I said, "Oh, hi." They didn't reply to me. I asked Jim how his night was going. He didn't reply either. I was too drunk and too tired to care. Destination to my house was already on the app before I made the call for the Uber, so Jim started driving. I was scrolling through my phone and texting friends, and I started to hear Jim whisper and mumble to himself. I couldn't understand what he was saying, and if he was talking to me or the person next to him, but I ignored it. As we were driving, he started to become more on edge, and the things he was whispering to himself was becoming more coherent. One thing I heard Jim say in a loud whisper was, "You do it. I can't risk going back to jail." Even though I was drunk, that was enough for me to stop playing around on my phone and focus on my surroundings and keep a closer eye on Jim and the person next to him. The person hadn't said a word the whole time I was in the car, which I found weird. I looked around outside and we were on the freeway, which wasn't unusual as you had to take to get to my house. The next thing that happened is Jim pulled the car over at a rest stop. He once again started talking to himself. Jim then said, "I won't do it. You can't make me." He then hit the person next to him in the face, and he got out the car. He grabbed something from the trunk and walked off into the darkness. I was stunned with what was going on. I asked the person in the passenger seat if they were all right, but once again, they didn't say anything or do anything. I asked again, this time tapping him on the shoulder. Something didn't feel right after grabbing hold of him. It felt cold. I took a closer look at the person, and to my complete shock and horror, the man looked lifeless with a hoodie on, and with white and bluish purple type skin. The expression on his face was shocking. It was as if he were frightened to death.
I knew that person was dead.
I sat back in the seat and couldn't believe what was going on. I could hear something from outside. It sounded like dirt being shoveled. That must have been what Jim was doing, digging some type of ditch or grave. At that point, I got out of the car and ran down the road, hoping to spot another car to pick me up. This was a sobering experience, but I was still drunk and tired. I ran down the road, but didn't get very far without being out of breath and needing to throw up. I'm not sure if I'm running around at night after drinking or the horrifying experience. Maybe both, but I felt sick. I turned around to look at Jim's car. I started to fear the worst when I saw the car start. I thought he was about to chase me down, but he didn't. He just started the car and then sped off into the night, never to be seen again. I felt so relieved, but I still kept fearing he would come back. I carried on walking down the road until passing the car, and they gave me a lift home. This incident scarred me for life, and I never got an Uber again. My name is Kyle.
But that made my hands
I'm an
sweat.
Uber driver and have been for around 3.5 years. Most of the time I work from early evening to late at night. I've had my fair share of rude, weird, and awkward customers, but I never thought I would have my life threatened. I think it was a Thursday night about 10:30 p.m. I get an alert from a guy named Caleb needing a ride to a house that was located in the
Hold on,
countryside.
my sister's texting
I pull
me.
up to a guy wearing dark blue jeans, a black hoodie, old white
Guys, don't
sneakers,
worry,
and a
it was
baseball
just
cap.
TikTok, okay?
I roll my window down and
Dirty
ask if he's
minds.
Caleb. He nodded yes and got in the back of my car. I looked at him in the rearview mirror. He was just looking out the window with his cap down and had both of his hands in his pockets of his hoodie. That was enough for me to know that he was interested in conversation, and the destination was already set up as I picked him up, so there was no need to make small talk either. As we were nearing the house, he sat forward and started looking out of the window, like he was looking for something or someone in particular. He was looking around the quiet, dark forest area, as was I. I then heard something thud on the floor of my car. Caleb then picked it up, whatever it was, and put it back in his pocket.
A gun or a knife?
But I took a look in the rearview mirror and saw that it was a gun. The butt of a handgun was sticking out of his pocket. I looked at Caleb to see if he'd noticed me looking at him, but he was still looking out of the window. My heart started racing and I began to panic. I was thinking like I was about to get killed and needed to think quickly on how I'm going to get out of this situation. We pulled up to an abandoned cottage that had been vandalized and forgotten about for years. And outside were 3 hooded men standing around a barrel with a fire inside. Before I had a chance to do anything, Caleb leaned forward, pointed the gun in the back of my neck, and grabbed the keys from my car, turning off the engine. At that point, the 3 men turned toward the car and started slowly approaching.
No way.
I thought I was about to get robbed, beaten, or even worse, killed.
Eaten?
Caleb then
Oh
said,
no, he said beaten.
"Don't move," as he got out of the car. He approached the 3 men and started talking. One of the men then handed him something. I don't know what it was. I couldn't make it out. But shortly after that, talking turned into arguing. And it wasn't long before Caleb shot one of the men dead, before the other 2 ran off into the dark woods. Caleb then turned to me, pointed the handgun, and fired, causing the window to shatter. Thankfully, I wasn't hit. Another gunshot went off, coming from the woods. Caleb turned toward the sound of the gunshot and let off 2 more rounds before running off into the woods himself. I grabbed my phone and ran out of the car into the opposite direction. When I thought I was far enough away, I called the police. As I was running, I could still hear gunshots in the distance. I told the police to go to the address. I still had it on my phone, so I knew exactly where to send them. 2 police cars drove by, and one of them stopping for me as I was waving them down. Told them I was the one who called. I was taken back to the station to make a more official statement. I was also informed that the cottage was abandoned and found no one near the property in the woods. The only thing they found was my car and a shattered window. The police told me it was a drug deal gone bad, and I should be considered lucky that I wasn't killed.
Not an advertisement. Well, that was scary.
My name is Ed. I'm 25 years old, and I'm an Uber driver. The story happened about 4 months ago. It was late on a Friday night around 11 p.m., and I was doing my pickups around local bars and nightclubs. I had just finished dropping off some passengers when I got a notification from a guy named Jackson. I pulled up to his location when a man peered through my window asking if I was Ed, his Uber driver. I said, "Yeah, you Jackson?" He replied, "Yeah," and got in. Once he got in my car, I could see him more clearly. He had long, dirty blonde hair, an unshaven face, and red bags under his eyes. He was wearing jeans and a dark blue hoodie. I started driving toward the destination that he had marked down. It wasn't long before I could smell his foul odor. I took a few glances at him in the rearview mirror. He looked pretty paranoid. He kept looking around outside as if he was searching for someone. The place he was driving to was a bar on the quieter part of the town, in fact. I thought the bar was shut down, but I didn't want to ask and make conversation with this guy, as I didn't want to ask.
You can see where they messed up. Look. Look at that. What? My guy's feet. It's popping out.
And make conversation with this guy.
His feet
And I
are
didn't
popping
feel
out the
comfortable.
car. Come on now, Martin.
He didn't say anything at the start of the journey.
More in animation.
He was just looking around, as I mentioned before. He kept taking sips of some kind of liquor he had with him. It was when we started to get to the quiet, empty highway when he started talking. He was saying things like, life is precious, and always be careful because you could lose someone close to you. I wasn't sure if he was even talking to me. I just assumed he was. He then showed me a picture of a woman and a young girl. He said that was his wife and daughter. I awkwardly said, "You have a nice family." He then asked if I had a daughter. I said yes, but I don't really. I don't know why I said yes, but thank God I did, because at that point, Jackson told me to stop the car. As I was stopping the car, he wrapped his arm around my throat and pointed something in the back of my head. It was a gun. He told me to go home to my daughter and be thankful. As he said this, he passed me the photo of his wife and daughter. He then got out of the car and fled into the darkness of the night. I then drove to the police station and reported what had happened. What they told me made the incident 10 times scarier than what it already was. After showing them the photo the man had handed to me, the police told me that the man had killed a woman and her daughter hours earlier, and the police were out looking for him. Thinking about this story horrifies me. I think about a lot of things. That I had a sadistic maniac in my car. Now he murdered that woman and child. I also think about how I told him I had a daughter. I honestly think if I hadn't, he would have killed me. He wouldn't be here to tell this story. As far as I know, the police still haven't found Jackson, and he's still out there somewhere.
Round of applause to all those animations that I watched. But I'm gonna wrap it up for this time. If you guys enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe, and join the OP gang. And if you guys do want more of this, just like, comment, maybe even subscribe, No, I'm just playing, but I didn't own any of these. This was made by Martin Animations and MJV Animations. So the first one was made by MJV Animations. The two other ones that we watched, this one and the other one, the hotel one, they were made by Martin. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Join OP gang. Peace.